What is going on, guys, and welcome back to the channel. So in this one we have a lot of stuff on that back table that we're going to be jumping on the 2.5RS, as well as having to fabricate and try to make some intercooler piping for this car. We are opting to use 304 stainless steel. I just feel a little bit more comfortable welding with that, so when we get to that, you'll see. This is it's going to be challenging. It's going to be challenging. So we have a lot to try to knock out today. So going from left to right on the table, we have a JDM license plate bracket. With using a JDM style rear bumper and JDM crash beam, we have to use the JDM license plate bracket and license plate lights. I do not know if there are already provisions for this on the chassis. If not, we are going to have to figure out where to put them. We got some wiring we got to do. We got in STI pedals for the RS, fuel filter, DC/CD controller. I have to pull the rear diff out again, take the cover off, and swap it for a proper gasket because the O-ring that More Sport provides is leaking. I got a couple bulkhead AN fittings, whole bunch of AN line power steering lines that we need to use. Power steering lines, we don't need the bulkhead fittings. The bulkhead fittings are primarily for this because I don't know where I'm going to put that quite yet. VSS speed sensor, N-links, some 4AN and line to make an oil line. I think what we're gonna start with right now is this license plate bracket, because how the hell does this rotate? Guess this rotates. I guess you can adjust where this sits. The license plate lights themselves, they do bolt up right here. So they actually do mount to the bumper beam. As for the license plate bracket, that is going to be something that we're going to figure out next. Thankfully, you can still buy these brand new. All of this. I bought the entire rear end brand new. So our lights should be on, which they are, and we got license plate lights. Sick. Look at that, you guys. License plate lights. For the license plate bracket, I think I'm going to temporarily put the bumper back on and try to locate where it goes, because right now, man, I don't know. Totally, dude. It just bothers me that the cutout is not centered. So I guess we're gonna drill 4 holes in the chassis for the license plate bracket. And then this light is gonna have to come there. We've got the JDM rear license plate bracket on with the license plate lights. If you look at the right license plate light, it sits inward more, so I am going to drill a new hole in that crash beam next time I take it out and move it to the right, probably about 1/8 of an inch, so it's mirrored, because to be honest, that would drive me absolutely nuts. So that's actually not bad. If you guys are doing like these 22B kits and whatnot, most of the time you're gonna have to swap to this JDM rear end stuff, which is that lightweight rear crash beam, this license plate bracket, and then these lights. I've seen some people trying to sell these brackets on eBay for a ridiculous amount of money. Keep in mind, I bought this bracket brand new for like 40 bucks on eBay. I saw someone trying to sell a used one for like 400, like stop. The lights, you can still buy those brand new. So most of the stuff you can still get brand new. So that is actually pretty sweet. Now we are quote unquote technically legal to be able to put a license plate on this. So we got to pull the diff out again real quick. The O-ring, you can see it right there, man. The O-ring from More Sport just leaks. Give me $1 to taste it. Not gonna go anywhere by taking these drums. I guess you're... back towards us. There we go, slowly. There we go. Back. So I'll keep the O-ring on there, but I'm also gonna add that gasket like I mentioned. Should have bought new diff bolts, but you know, I didn't think about it. It's fine, it's whatever. Got it? Yeah. you. Fucking Mufasa in it over here.
It's almost like I know what I'm doing.
It's almost like you've done this before. Oh. That's from the diff just dripping for like 3 months. So diff resealed with an actual OEM gasket on there, so it's not just the O-ring from More Sport. So we should be solid on that. Now, while I have the car in the air, we're gonna go ahead and swap out our power steering lines right here. So these we are not using anymore. We are swapping to the Chase base kit, and that replaces the entire lines going to the rack back here. So we need to pull all of this off, get this plate out of our way here, and then we should be able to easily gain access to be able to swap all this out. If you look at your steering rack and you follow your hard lines back, you're gonna remove 2 of them. One of them goes up to the front of the rack here, which that looks like it'll be a little bit of a pain in the butt. The other one goes right here to the bottom. Doing this kit will also give us access to be able to run our lines how we see fit around our turbo kit. So honestly, it's kind of important. So this line can come out. We're just gonna get it. It's actually almost in. Take that guy out, and as you guys can see, man, it doesn't thread in much. There. The lines come off the rack. This is our high pressure, this is our low pressure. They run on top of our skid plate here, go around. I have them secured to the factory spot here, where they then wrap up with that heat sleeve, and then I've got a couple spots up top where we can kind of secure that down a little bit more. If I put a riv nut down there in that hole, I can secure the lines here. I've got another one that I showed you guys on the bottom to secure them on the bottom. Up top, I do need to have these cut and trimmed and then a new fitting put on. So I'll probably just have a straight right here. And on this one, I'll have it cut down so that way it's a 90, because you guys can see, dude, there's so much power steering line. I don't need all of that. So we'll get a couple fittings ordered today for all that. We might just be able to pick those up at Ace Race tomorrow, and we might just be able to get those wrapped up. So everything underneath of the car is secured, ran for how it's going to go. It did take me a couple minutes to figure out how all of the lines will route, but now that we've got it all sorted, one less thing to kind of stress about. They're not done yet, but one less thing to kind of stress about. It's the following day. I took out the power steering lines to go get them cut and have new fittings crimped on at O'Reilly's, but they told me the dude wasn't in until Tuesday, so it was whatever. It was already late in the afternoon. I just went home after that. This morning, I went down to Ace Race. I picked up some more raw material for intercooler piping, and we also got an actual, it's like a, I don't want to say a DIY bandsaw, but it's a bandsaw. It's a Bauer bandsaw with a Hercules stand on it, so it makes doing these cuts incredibly easy and way better than using an angle grinder or anything like that. So intercooler piping is going to be a little bit finicky to figure out where it's got to go around the bumper, so I think we have our first pipe kind of figured out. So let's get some tube cut, some tube. No, they don't got a thing for me, don't worry.
Doesn't matter if they do.
It was like pulling off a big old condom. Okay, so first one was 8 inches, right?
Yeah.
I'm really excited to use this new machine. Hold my tube. Don't let it roll. Freaking nice, dude. That's so nice. Let me see the tube we cut. That's like almost perfectly straight. I don't have enough gas to weld anything, but I have enough to tack weld. Okay, where is that tube that you had still up there? We'll go there. Did I cut it too long?
It was 8 inches. We measured.
I swear, when we just did this, it looked like it would work. How do we measure an angle without a protractor?
I don't know if this is gonna make sense, but what if you measure the outside and then this side?
I watched a video of this convoluted way of doing this, and you know, it's probably the right way of doing this, but what fun is that? So I want to take a measurement on the long side, 1.4335. No, here, come back over here.
No!
I'm going to hold the pipe. You're going to.
I am in charge.
Give me the pipe. So I believe we found a way to do this, which I think I'm pretty happy with. will go in there like that. And this, I need the Sharpie. I need to cut back more.
There you go. Beautiful.
Okay, I need you to take the Sharpie, and then I need you to draw one line.
Like from one piece to the other?
Yeah, so that way I know the orientation. Right there. Do 2 lines.
Hold on. Ah, it's really hard to draw a straight line like this.
Is that it? Then we can tack weld it.
Let's see if I can do this one-handed.
What, trying to put
Totally
the cap back
not
on?
paying attention to it. Ah, I totally marked myself, didn't I? That's not bad.
We're gonna test fit it, and then we're gonna tack weld it.
I don't think that looks bad at all.
And we're over here trying to do dumbass pie cuts and whatnot.
That looks beautiful.
I think this needed to come down more. And we still have clearance between the bumper and the intercooler pipe.
That looks good.
People can't see me without a hat, but laugh at my bald head. Okay, I might have to come up with a fender, which is fine.
Oh, are we zoomed in? Oh, let's zoom out.
And then this will kind of lift up down here. That's intercooler pipe number 1. First charge pipe comes out the turbo, goes through this hole right here in the fender, and then comes out and points us right in the direction of the front mount right there. Now, getting that pipe to the front mount, I'm not entirely sure yet. We are gonna have to put a coupler on that, but I kind of like the idea of not having a coupler visible in here, and it's just pipe, if that makes sense. It's still serviceable. I mean, you can still get to it. With our intercooler piping coming down like this through the fender, it's gonna clear the tire, no problem. We can still run a fender liner, no problem. I'm gonna cut out this triangle here, because I can come out to a 90 and then just go to a 45 and we should be able to line up with this no problem. It's just, there's just not enough room here and this serves no purpose. So, yeet, yeet. Oh, that's hot on my arm. Oh, don't tell me we need a pie cut. Hot side of the piping all done, which I'm actually a big fan of how this came out. So 90-degree coupler to this long 45 to a 90, which we trimmed down a little bit. Comes out of the 90 down to this 45 to a coupler. Now I put the coupler intentionally down here in the wheel well so that way there's no couplers up in the engine bay. I want to try to minimize that. It's still very accessible here. I am gonna clearance that just a little bit more where that piping passes. This is where we struggled a little bit, where we were trying to make all those pie cuts and everything, and it was not happening. We tried earlier up there too, and you know, this is why I just pre-buy pie cuts, because I am not the most skilled at it. But from the coupler 45 to this little 45 transition elbow to a 90 to our front mount here, it's all 2.5 inch 304 stainless steel, and I am digging how this side came out. Melanie and I are going to run down to Ace Race tomorrow because she's now my shop hand apparently, which I have no complaints with. We're gonna run down to Ace Race tomorrow, pick up some material to do this side. For this, we're gonna have to do it again with the bumper on the car so we can make sure all the piping clears the bumper. But I think what we're gonna do is have this come out. We're probably gonna have to trim this down like we did on the other side. Have the piping cut very close around the dry sump tank. Trim down this panel here, have it 90 back. Come up through here, run across to the throttle body there. It is just so incredibly difficult to make everything fit in this engine bay because it's just such a small engine bay. I want to say it's 2 inches more narrow than a GD engine bay, and that it really starts to show. 2 inches is a lot sometimes. Okay, we are not going to be able to run this as a forward-facing manifold, mainly because of the throttle body. The way that the Cosworth and this throttle body kind of orientate themselves, it sticks upwards, so it hits the hood, and we don't have the clearance in the front to be able to make that work. So we're gonna have to run it like this. We're gonna go down and pick up some more material tomorrow, but we're thinking intercooler piping will just run straight back and around to that, and then down to the intercooler. It's not the end of the world. The only difference is we just have more charge piping. It's really not gonna make that big of a difference, but it does kind of suck because, you know, I did really prefer the look of it the other way, but it's whatevs. I'm not gonna dwell on it too much. I think the only thing that bothers me with having a standard orientation manifold is just this gigantic empty space here now. But I guess if the alternator was back over there, we'd still have a gigantic empty space there. So the other option is buy a different intake manifold. I really don't want to spend $2,000 on a Process West. I don't want to spend another $1,200 on an AMS. We can cross that bridge in the future if we do opt to rotate this back around. The air temp, I'm going to have to cut that and extend it, which does kind of suck because I built the harness for forward facing. Or we could just relocate this coolant pressure and all of this, because these 3 just have to go back. So I mean, if we tap the coolant crossover for 1/8 MPT, we could just put the coolant pressure sensor inside of that as well. So, you know, that's a problem for later, but at least the wiring and everything, it's long enough where we can still get it to where it needs to go. But like I said, it wasn't my original plan, but I don't think it'll look bad. I don't think it'll look bad by any means.
So as you can see, it's facing the normal orientation again, because when we had it facing forward, we even tried, what was this piece called?
That's the IAG throttle body.
The throttle body. So
the other one in the truck that is the stop.
We tried it with this throttle body, and we tried it with this throttle body, and no matter what we did facing forward, it was still too high. We couldn't get it not to be hit with the hood. So we have to do it this way. It has to face backwards. So Tanner right now is welding a couple of the pipes together because we think we might have figured out how to get it to run out and then down where we need it to go.
When this is 1. So for right now, we are just going to run it as a standard orientation manifold. The only thing that's really changing performance-wise is a little bit more intercooler piping, but that's also not the end of the world. This and bring this in. I need to cut that tack here, that tack and that tack, shave a little bit off this, because when I do that, it's going to bring all of this that way. That's why we only tack holes. This is how we're looking with this portion of the cold pipes done. So comes out the blow off valve. This guy will sit right here, roughly right there, and it fit perfect clearance on it. Now we got to figure out how to get this pipe to the intercooler. So for this, we're gonna take off the bumper and figure out how we're gonna get around the dry sump tank and get underneath the frame and everything like that, because this portion, this is gonna take both of us our thinking caps to figure out how to get this to the intercooler at this point. We have almost all of the charge piping done. Melanie and I have been trying to figure this out for like an hour for how to get the intercooler piping from inside the engine bay to the intercooler around the dry sump tank, and we're just not finding a good way to do it. This is something that I actually might need like a professional fabricator to come out and help with, because right now, dude, I'm at a total loss. Now, I thought I could snake it around the dry sump tank, and I still might be able to. I don't have any brake rotors on this car yet. I do have a STI BBS wheel on here as a mock-up to see kind of how much room we had to work with. And without a brake rotor on, that wheel is it's just too close. So the main issue we have with this side is the dry sump tank. We are having a very difficult time trying to get clearance from right there going around the tank. Because you got to remember, when this wheel is at full lock, it's going to be more inward. So what I guess another option is look at a dry sump tank that's a little bit shorter, so we can try to come underneath of it. We would just have to lose this much height on our dry sump tank. So I don't know, maybe I'll look at some options tonight, but it's just like, it's very, very, very tight clearance right here. It's very tight. But aside from that, we have the rest of the charge piping at least all figured out and done with. So at least for this side, on the cold side, comes out, wraps around. I want to try to keep it a little bit tucked more towards the engine, which I think we were able to do there. Drop it straight down. This side, all you really see is that 45 that comes out here. Blow off valve will go right up there. I am a little disappointed that I couldn't get this manifold to fit forward. Maybe I'll look into seeing if somebody wants to trade like a Process West or something for like a brand new Cosworth. I don't know quite yet, but we'll get it figured out. Everything's still only tacked up, so it's definitely still modifiable. Hey guys, so future me here. I have an idea to make the forward facing work with the Cosworth. So I just ordered what I believe what we need to make it happen. I also had the idea, what if we surfaced the manifold and pulled off like 40 thou or something off of the flange, but I have an idea to make it work for forward facing. It's just we're running into this issue where the hood was inside, it was just pushing down on the coupler. So I have an idea. We're gonna try it in the next video. Regardless, even if we do go to forward facing manifold, we still have the issue with the dry sump tank trying to get the intercooler piping to the intercooler. So if you guys have any ideas, I am all ears. I'm all ears because I'm out of ideas. So with that, I will simmer on this. I'll keep you guys posted. Like I said, if you guys have anything, toss it this way. But if you liked the video, if you're hyped with the progress, I mean, we still made great progress. Go ahead and hit that like button. Turn it black, blue, green, yellow, purple, silver, cyan, whatever color turns for you. And if you're not already subscribed to the channel and you want to be able to put it in one of these corners, no idea which one quite yet. But with that, I will catch you guys in the next one. So peace out, homies.